right, welcome back, everyone. Ready for another deep dive.
Definitely.
Today, we're kind of shifting gears a bit. We're going to be taking a look at the recent events at the Kumbh Mela
Okay.
in Prayagraj, India.
Right.
Kind of a sobering topic today. We've got reports on a tragic crowd crush that happened on January 29th. And along with that, we've got some background information on the Kumbh Mela itself.
Right.
Just to get everyone up to speed, it's a massive Hindu festival.
Yeah.
And it's expected to draw, it's incredible, something like 400 million people.
Wow.
Over the next 6 weeks.
It's hard to imagine.
It's really hard to wrap your head around, you know?
Yeah.
They gather to bathe in these sacred rivers,
Right.
believing that it brings them closer to spiritual liberation. It's just mind-blowing to think about.
What's particularly point is that this incident occurred during Mauni Amavasya,
Okay.
which is considered one of the holiest days of the festival.
So, I mean, can you help our listener really picture this? Like, what was it actually like on the ground that morning?
Well, try to imagine, like, 100 million people all converging on this place called the Triveni Sangam. It's the point where the Ganges, the Yamuna, and the mythical Saraswati rivers all meet.
Oh, wow.
And drone footage showed that the crowds, I mean, they were just massive
I bet.
before the crush even happened. And you have to understand, for devotees, bathing here on this specific day,
Right.
it's believed to wash away their sins
Yeah.
and bring them closer to moksha,
Okay.
which is like a kind of spiritual liberation. I mean, the energy, it must be palpable, almost electric.
It's really hard to even comprehend that many people in one place.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes you realize how quickly
Yeah.
a situation could turn dangerous
Oh,
with that many people.
Right.
And sadly, that's exactly what happened. Around 1:30 a.m. local time, a barrier near the river broke. I mean, was it just too many people pushing against it or what?
It seems that way.
Right.
And with the crowd so densely packed,
Right.
it just triggered this chaotic chain reaction. I mean, witnesses described seeing bodies near the riverbank, ambulances just struggling to make their way through all those people, belongings scattered everywhere.
Oh, God.
It was just pure chaos.
Yeah. The reports mention at least 14 confirmed deaths.
Awful.
With possibly more injured, and one woman even shared her account of being separated from her family.
Oh, no.
In the crush, she described like being swept up in this massive wave of people, unable to move, people pushing and shoving. It's absolutely heartbreaking.
It underscores the human cost of this tragedy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, beyond the numbers, these are real individuals
Yeah.
and families that are forever impacted by what happened.
So what are officials saying about what caused this horrible crush?
Well, the chief minister of Uttar Pradesh, Yogi Adityanath, has acknowledged that there was immense pressure because of the sheer volume of people
I can't even imagine.
who were present. He said that 80 to 100 million people were there
My gosh.
that day in Prayagraj. And on top of that, over 50 million
What?
had already bathed the day before.
So the city was just overflowing.
It was completely overflowing.
Wow. It sounds like the scale of this event
Yeah.
was almost impossible to manage,
Yeah.
even with extra safety measures, right?
They did claim to have increased security
Oh, okay.
for the festival. They deployed over 1,000 police officers,
Why?
2,700 AI-powered cameras,
Wow.
and even drones for surveillance.
Oh, wow. That's incredible.
But the chief minister admitted that the crush happened when devotees pushed through the barricades. So even with those measures,
Yeah.
it seems they were just overwhelmed.
It really makes you wonder. I mean, how do you even begin to control crowds of that magnitude?
Right.
Is there any way to truly guarantee safety at an event like this?
It's a question that's been raised time and again. This isn't the first tragedy
Oh, really?
to occur at the Kumbh Mela
Oh, wow.
back in 2013.
Yeah.
There was a deadly stampede
Yeah.
at a railway station in Allahabad
Oh, gosh.
during the festival. So there's a real history of struggling with crowd management here.
So it sounds like this is a recurring problem
It is.
and something that clearly needs to be addressed.
Absolutely.
But before we dive into potential solutions, you know, I think it's important to understand why people are so drawn to the Kumbh Mela in the first place.
I think that's a great point.
What is it about this event that brings millions of people together despite the risks?
Well, the Kumbh Mela it's deeply rooted in Hindu mythology.
Okay.
The story goes that gods and demons fought over this elixir of immortality.
Okay.
And drops of this elixir fell at the 4 locations
Right.
where the Kumbh Mela is held, Prayagraj being one of them.
So it's like a sacred pilgrimage to these sites.
Exactly.
Okay.
And it's not just one single event.
Right.
There are actually different types of Kumbh Melas.
Oh, okay.
The one happening now is it's a Maha Kumbh Mela.
Okay.
It's the largest and most significant kind,
Gotcha.
which occurs in Prayagraj every 12 years.
So this wasn't just any Kumbh Mela.
No.
It was the biggest one.
Yeah. And it held even more weight this time
Oh, wow.
because of this incredibly rare celestial alignment.
Oh, wow.
Happens only once every 144 years.
Oh my gosh.
That's why the crowds were so enormous this time around.
So you have this ancient tradition,
Right.
the allure of spiritual cleansing, and this rare celestial event all happening at once. It's almost like a perfect storm of faith and circumstance.
It really is. And beyond the ritual bathing,
Right.
there's so much more to the Kumbh Mela. You have sadhus, Hindu holy men from various sects gatherings, cultural performances.
Wow.
It's a truly vibrant and multifaceted event.
Wow. It sounds like a truly powerful experience.
It is.
But with this recent tragedy, how are people reacting? Are they still going to the Kumbh Mela?
That's what's so remarkable. Even after the incident,
Really?
devotees continued to bathe in the river.
Really? Even knowing what happened?
Yes. The chief minister urged people to bathe at less crowded points along the river, but images show large numbers still heading to the
Wow.
confluence.
It's a testament to the depth of their faith
Yeah.
and how deeply meaningful
Absolutely.
this ritual is for them.
It certainly is. This tragedy raises difficult questions about how to improve safety
Yeah.
at future Kumbh Melas. Can technology play a role?
Yeah.
What about individual responsibility?
Right.
And what impact will this have on the future of the festival itself?
All important questions and ones we'll be exploring further as we continue this deep dive. It's almost like we're looking at this collision, between
Yeah.
this ancient tradition and the modern world.
Yeah.
On one hand, you have this centuries-old ritual,
Right.
and on the other, you have AI cameras and drones
Yeah.
trying to manage this flow of people.
That's exactly the tension at play here, and it's only going to intensify as events like this continue to grow,
Yeah.
attracting more and more people.
So is there any way to prevent tragedies like this in the future? Are there solutions out there that could actually work?
Well, some experts believe that technology could be a key factor.
Okay.
Like imagine a system that could analyze crowd density in real time,
Right.
predict where bottlenecks might form,
Okay.
and then alert authorities so they can take preventative measures.
That sounds incredibly futuristic. Is that something that could actually be implemented?
It might sound like science fiction,
Yeah.
but we're not that far off.
Really?
Artificial intelligence and predictive analytics are already being used in crowd management for other large-scale events,
Okay.
like concerts and sporting events.
Okay.
The challenge is adapting those technologies
Yeah.
to the unique complexities of the Kumbh Mela.
What makes the Kumbh Mela so different? Why wouldn't those same technologies just work?
Well, firstly, the sheer scale is a huge hurdle.
I bet.
We're talking about numbers
Yeah.
that dwarf most other gatherings,
Right.
millions upon millions of people.
Yeah, it's insane.
And then you have the religious and cultural context. You can't treat this like any other event.
Right.
You have to be incredibly sensitive to the beliefs and practices of the devotees.
I see what you mean. You can't just impose a bunch of restrictions and expect people to comply if it goes against, like, the spiritual significance of the event.
Right. And then you have the unpredictable human element.
Yeah.
Even with the best technology in the world,
Mm.
you can never fully anticipate how people will behave in a crowd,
Right.
especially when faith and deep emotions are involved.
So it's not just about having the technology. It's about using it
Yeah.
in a way that's both effective and respectful of the cultural context.
That's the real key, striking that balance between tradition and innovation.
And it also makes me think about individual responsibility. Does the individual have a role to play in preventing these tragedies?
Absolutely. Crowd management strategies are crucial, but individual awareness and responsible behavior are just as important.
So what does responsible behavior look like in this context?
Well, it's about things like heeding instructions from authorities,
Okay.
being aware of your surroundings,
Right.
not contributing to the chaos by pushing or shoving,
Right.
and just generally being mindful of the safety of yourself and others.
It sounds like it takes a shared responsibility, right?
Yeah.
Between the organizers and the attendees. Everyone needs to play their part to make sure the event is both safe and meaningful.
Exactly. It's not about placing blame. It's about acknowledging that everyone has a role to play in preventing future tragedies.
This tragedy has certainly brought a lot of important issues to light. But what about the future of the Kumbh Mela itself? Will this event change the way it's organized going forward?
It's hard to say for certain. The Kumbh Mela is such a deeply ingrained tradition.
Yeah.
I doubt it will disappear.
Right.
However, this tragedy will undoubtedly spark discussions about safety,
Yeah,
crowd management,
of course.
and the need for increased vigilance.
Those sound like some tough conversations that need to happen.
They are, but they're absolutely necessary.
Yeah.
If anything positive can come out of this tragedy,
Right.
it's that it forces us to confront these challenges head on
Yeah.
and strive for better solutions.
It's a stark reminder that even in our technologically advanced world, we can't lose sight of the human element, especially when dealing with events that hold such profound cultural and spiritual significance.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
Finding that balance, that harmony between tradition and progress is crucial.
So what's the next step in this ongoing discussion? Where do we go from here?
I think it's vital that we move beyond simply reacting to these tragedies after they happen.
Yeah.
We need to be proactive in identifying potential risks
Right.
and putting preventative measures in place.
So it's about shifting from like a reactive approach to a more preventative one.
Precisely. And that requires collaboration from all sides. We need experts in crowd management, technology developers, cultural and religious leaders.
Yeah.
And of course, the attendees themselves.
It sounds like a multi-pronged approach.
Yeah.
Is the only way to tackle an issue this complex.
There's no single solution.
Right.
It's about bringing diverse perspectives to the table and working together towards a common goal, ensuring that events like the Kumbh Mela can continue to be celebrations of faith and tradition,
Right.
but in a way that prioritizes safety and well-being for everyone.
That's a powerful message. Even in the face of tragedy, there's always hope for progress.
Definitely.
We just need to learn from the past and work together to create a safer future.
Yeah,
This has been an incredibly insightful deep dive.
it really has.
Yeah.
The Kumbh Mela is like a microcosm of the world we live in, a world where tradition meets modernity, faith intersects with logistics, and individual choices can have global consequences.
You've given us a lot to ponder. Yeah, it really does feel like we're witnessing a pivotal moment, not just for the Kumbh Mela, but for like large-scale gatherings around the world.
It does. Yeah. What happened at this year's Maha Kumbh Mela is a terrible tragedy, but it could also be a catalyst for real change.
Yeah, it's a reminder that we can't afford to be complacent.
No.
Even with events that have been happening for centuries, right?
Right.
There's always room for improvement and a need to adapt to the changing realities
Absolutely.
of our world.
Yeah, as the world becomes increasingly interconnected
Right.
and these gatherings grow larger and larger, the stakes only get higher.
Yeah.
The potential for both incredible experiences and devastating consequences just magnifies.
So for our listener who's been with us on this deep dive, what's the most important thing to take away from all of this?
I think it's crucial to move beyond just the headlines and the immediate tragedy.
Yeah.
We need to understand the deeper context.
Right.
The Kumbh Mela isn't just a news story.
Yeah.
It's a profound expression of faith,
Of course.
living tradition,
Yeah.
and a testament to the power of human connection.
And it's a reminder that even the most sacred traditions need to adapt and evolve
Yeah,
to ensure the safety and well-being of everyone involved.
absolutely. We've seen how the Kumbh Mela represents this powerful intersection of faith, tradition, and logistical challenges.
Right.
As the world changes and events like this continue to draw massive crowds, how do we strike that delicate balance
Yeah.
between honoring cultural significance and guaranteeing the safety and well-being of all participants?
It's a question that deserves careful consideration.
Yeah.
Not just for the Kumbh Mela, but for any large-scale gathering in the future.
Yeah.
And I hope this deep dive has given our listener a new perspective on this complex issue.
Me too. Perhaps this tragedy can be a catalyst for positive change,
Right.
leading to better safety measures and a greater awareness of individual responsibility in such massive gatherings.
Yeah, it certainly has given me a lot to think about.
Yeah.
And for our listener, I encourage you to continue exploring this topic, learn more about the Kumbh Mela, research the steps being taken to improve safety at future events, and just consider how technology and individual awareness can come together to create a safer, more harmonious experience for everyone.
Yeah.
Even in the face of tragedy, we have the power to learn, adapt, and create a better future. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.